Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. Linux users are used to the whole idea of a Linux operating system being very stable. And as a Linux desktop user, we actually experience really good uptime, meaning that you don't have to really restart your machine very often. Now, I have done an episode about this before, but I wanted to show you Linux uptime for the real world, how this really benefits you if you are a user of Linux. Now, before I get to that, let me show you what we're used to in the whole Windows 10 world. And so whenever we're in Windows 10, we are quite often used to there being updates. As a matter of fact, whenever I started this, there is an update not only for my operating system, but also this piece of software. But what I'm really talking about here is actually operating system updates. So if you go here and you go to your settings, you can actually see all your update history. And so the last time I had updates was actually today and the one before that was 120 218. Now the thing with updates with Windows is typically whenever there are updates you have to restart your machine, and I think everybody's experienced this where you restart your machine, it puts in all the updates. Okay, sometimes it's really quick, sometimes it could take a really long time. And you do have other options here which you can change or control your update settings for when you actually get updates. Okay, but the thing is, as with everything normally in Windows, it can get pretty complex. Okay, so at some point they're going to force you to do updates anyway. Right here it's up to 35 days, and so that is something that I think is really annoying because it actually affects your use of your operating system. Okay, if you're doing something or even if you plan to do later, it's just a simple fact that this really gets in the way of you using your computer. Okay, so that's really what I'm like talking about here whenever I talk about system updates and uptime. Whereas in the whole Linux world, or specifically the Linux desktop, it really doesn't work that way because you don't have your operating system constantly telling you to update software. Okay, like right here in the software manager, it'll tell you when updates are available and you update them when you want to. Okay, and then in terms of actual uptime, the last time I actually had to restart my machine, if I go here to some information about my operating system has been running for 22 days, 12 hours and 59 minutes, and I've actually had my operating system up and running even longer than that. And so basically all I have to do is suspend my machine or hibernate, and I really don't have to restart it unless either I want to or if I have put in new updates, specifically kernel updates that requires me to restart my Linux machine. But unlike Windows, pretty much 95% of all your updates, you do not have to restart your actual operating system. And I'll show you this right now where I could actually install these updates right now. Okay, and I don't really have to restart my machine. Okay, but once again, if it is a version update of the operating system or I'm updating my kernel, then that's when normally you're going to have to restart your machine. Okay, but other than that, you should have no problem. So if I install my updates right here, it'll go ahead and install all the updates that I need, and I could even look at the progress right here. And once it's done, that's it, it's done. It'll refresh my update manager and everything should be okay, and I just use my operating system as normal without anything really affecting me using my computer. I do not have to restart my machine. I don't have to wait until all these updates are installed, and see, it's already been installed. And so until the next set of updates, and once again, I don't actually get notifications on when there are system updates. I don't get constant reminders or notifications like I do in Windows. I don't get interrupted from me using my computer. And so for a lot of people, they might be used to this in Windows, but I myself, having used Linux for so long now as my main desktop, more than a decade, it is really a pain to go back to a system like this. It's hard for me to imagine ever going back to Windows as my main operating system because there's just so many things, and uptime being one of the most important ones, that I no longer have to deal with anymore in the real world. So those are all my thoughts on Linux uptime in the real world. If you had any thoughts on uptime, whether it's on Linux, Windows, or Mac, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments area below. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, please subscribe. And if you wanted to support my channel further, you could do that at patreon.com/Geek Outdoors. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.